for joining me on another episode of So Zoom In. Please hit like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. So I like to bring you people who are definitely in the creative flow. They are taking their thoughts, whether they started off as a mere thought or a dream, and they are turning them into reality. It's all part of this journey we all have. So I am very happy to have Walter Berry. He is a certified dream specialist. He definitely walks the walk and talks the talk and takes his dreams and puts it into action. And part of that action has been writing a book, Drawn into the Dream. It's available on Amazon, and we're going to be talking about it. Now, as a side note, there are so many things happening in this world, and we're like, very interesting. So how do we really focus on what's for us and what's not for us? Sometimes dreams can help with those answers. And so I'm really looking forward to it. So he will be joining us any minute. Thanks so much. We're going to be talking about dreams, so we'll be in the dream state.
Yeah,
you know, like,
okay. You're funny.
You know, anyway, so in all seriousness, it's wonderful seeing you again.
Good.
So thank you for coming back on my show.
Oh,
I appreciate that. You know, and your book is out, Drawn into the Dream.
Yes, yes.
You know. Yes, available on Amazon. Fabuloso. So you had a book signing not too long ago. How did that go?
And I won a silver award for a book, book contest and stuff. I've gotten, things are going pretty good with the book. It's it's getting out there. I would love more people to look at it. People that read it love it. It's a fun read, but it's getting out there. It's getting out there. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And I have to help however I can. Well, what I think is so cool, right now with all these changes going on so many levels, like over the entire world, so many people are having very vivid dreams. Right. And these are people who usually don't pay attention to the dreams. Yeah. And so, and they're like, they kind of blow it off, or they say they can't remember, but they kind of really do, or it comes back to them like a few days later, and I think these are all messages for people. And that's kind of like what you do is you help people figure out what those messages are. Yes. But you use a technique of drawing, yes, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And so what's interesting is I like to believe that these are messages from either our higher self or I like to call it higher self or spirit guides or what universe wants you to know. It's like, bam, slap you upside the head. It's like, pay attention, Sophia. And a lot of times we don't. We just blow it off. But then when we realize things come back. Mm-hmm. So I think as more and more people are becoming aware of this, mm-hmm, and they're like, I think your technique could really be helpful for people to figure things out.
Oh, absolutely.
This is my humble opinion.
Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is it's a very complex process, and not that, but the idea is like you have a dream where, an alligator turns into a baby, and then the baby falls out of the sky, and then an airplane crashes into it, but then it turns into, it's these things you go, what the heck? I mean, what is this? What it's, and it's my job to say, okay, it's not a matter of interpretation. I don't use the word interpretation much, but it's basically like, how can we open this up and kind of see where this is coming from? Why is for my money, it's my unconscious. It's the Jungian kind of and Freudian kind of place where the unconscious is this amazing place that has information for us. And, and if we can get something out of it, life is good,
Definitely bonus. Yeah. Well, there's so much stuff happening. Yes. And life isn't exactly simple, is it? But so we have all these symbols in dreams, right? Mm-hmm. So when someone dreams of an alligator turning into a baby and they're like freaking out, mm-hmm, or what do you say to them?
I say, well, okay, you have to think of this as a message from your unconscious. So it's like, what is an alligator? An alligator. I mean, what's an alligator about? What's a baby about? It's then if you start putting those pieces together, it's like detective work in a sense. Like, wait a minute, why is there an alligator here? Alligators, what are they doing? And it depends on the dreamer. It's not universal. It can be, but mostly it's the dreamer. It's like, oh yeah, I lived in Florida, so I mean, alligators are these things that we hated. Oh, okay, then that makes a difference. But if the dreamer has experiences with alligators, and animals in dreams are sort of like, they're kind of our souls that are unabashed. You know what I mean? It's like, it's an alligator. It's gonna eat something. It has this desire to do that. It's like it comes out from the water. It comes out from underneath, and you start making metaphors out of it, because now it's like, oh, is there something that's coming out of, like Jung thought of water, not the seawater, but regular water, as being the emotion. So is there something that's coming out of my emotions in this alligator moment that is biting me, trying to bite me in the ass? Oh wait, it's a baby. Well, a baby is what? A new life. It's a new way to turn your life around. It's a new start. You could just go through these things and kind of figure it out. And sometimes it fails. Sometimes you just go, nah, it doesn't feel right. And you go, okay. But mostly something happens, something goes on. Yeah.
Well, I think it's cool too, is just by paying attention, it makes you become more mindful of kind of what's going on the inside of you. So
Yeah.
whether you can actually make sense of it, it's like
Yes.
starting to train yourself, teach yourself
Yeah.
how to be more aware of what's happening inside. And people don't do that,
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like,
yeah, I have a really big thing about that, which is that, like, it's like, because you're like a storyteller. You wrote a screenplay that has some success and is like getting awards and stuff. I mean, so it's about storytelling. Why is it that we get so involved in that stuff? Why is it that when I read your screenplay or when I watch it on the screen, it's like you fall into it. Do you know what I mean? There's a way that, and it's that willing suspension of disbelief, that famous phrase, that you fall into this place where you go, suddenly I'm going, oh, I'm feeling things, I'm seeing stuff, and oh, don't turn that corner, oh no, don't open that door, whatever it is. There's a deep emotional reaction to it. Well, what I think is that, in a sense, there's all kinds of crap that gets laid on us in our lives, and it starts, I mean, and some of it is really good. Like, we learn an alphabet, we learn how to speak, we learn how to walk, we learn how to be obedient, we learn how to be naughty, we have incredible mounds of stuff, thousands, hundreds, millions of things that are in our being. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know about stop signs. I know, I remember my ex-wife and how she was. And all these things that are in our soul, right? Sits there, in a sense, in the unconscious. And the dreams come and going, you need to deal with this. There's something you need to deal with today. And let's, because I know everything. The unconscious kind of knows, or if you call it the higher power, but it's like, there's something that knows everything. And if I can just channel and get into that a little bit, it's an incredible thing. It's just an incredible thing.
I agree. Well, what's interesting, so I talk with a lot of creatives, filmmakers, artists,
Yeah.
actors, dancers, that whole thing. And they're always saying, they're following their dreams, they're living their passions, which, and so, and I think that can go for people who aren't necessarily in the creative world, who just, work their office job, or who just, do their thing, and they're perfectly happy with that, and still be aware of what their dreams are, and still figure out, what kind of messages are coming to them and why. Now,
Mhm.
you don't, I mean, a lot of people you work with, they're all kinds of backgrounds, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, from all over the world too. From, yeah, all over the world, and a lot of them are here in Los Angeles or in the United States, but it's also, yeah, all kinds of completely different backgrounds with different ideas and stuff. It's, oh, what I love, it's I don't know if you get this as a creative person, but it's like, it's voyeurism almost. It's like, when I get, when somebody tells me a dream, there's a panther and it's moving slowly towards me. It's black and it's dark night and it's coming out. Suddenly I'm in that. Do you know what I mean? I'm thinking, ooh, where's the blank? Do you know what I mean? That feeling you get, it's the same thing as like the creative kind of thing you do with writing. It's like, wow, I get to have this experience of being a Black Panther for a few minutes. It's tremendous. It says something.
So what is it like for people when they share their dreams and they get interpretation? Do you see a big difference within them, or do you see kind of like some sort of maybe light bulb going off when they
Yeah.
discuss their dreams?
Yeah, I kind of call it, well, a lot of us call it the aha principle, which is like you go, is what'll happen is I'll say, well, there's the alligator and there's the baby and there's the, da da da, all that kind of stuff. And they go, uh-huh. And then they say, wait a minute. Oh, baby, because I just had this new idea, blah, 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 blah. Suddenly it does. They get an aha and they go, oh, I wonder if that's what it's about. And so then it's a way of looking inside yourself and saying, okay, it's now time to like that idea that I had, I'm going to write some more about it. And I encourage them to say, okay, write it down or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be creative. It can be just a simple thing that they need to do. It's amazing what happens with people. Dreams are messages from the unconscious that we need to hear and will help us. They will help us,
Oh,
really much so.
I agree with that completely. Yeah. I mean, and just some things, like musicians, I've heard so many times that they got their lyrics from a dream, or,
Yeah.
just when they're thinking about the dream, they were in that state of consciousness and like they were, almost like channeling it. So and
The,
then,
the, the most famous story about that, of course, is that Paul McCartney wrote, yesterday came to him completely in a dream. He woke up with a tune in his head and he called it Scrambled Eggs and something because he didn't have the lyrics yet, but he got up and sat down at the piano and played it. Yeah, which is one of the most famous songs in the world, right? And yesterday, anyway, he played the whole thing and went, I don't know where this came from. Did I listen? And it was nowhere. So it came completely from a dream, that inspired thing. But that's, kind of a famous story.
what I think is interesting too, okay, a lot of paintings, sometimes when I see artwork, I feel like I'm transported. So in a
Yes.
lot of ways, artwork feels like a portal.
Hmm.
And one of the techniques you use for people to help them, process or understand their dream is through drawing. How did you come about that technique?
Oh, well, it happened kind of by accident. I had it's in the book. The story's in the book. If you want to get the book, it's great. But this woman came to me with a dream because I've been working dreams just normally, like, and I still do sometimes. I don't always use the drawing, but I usually do. And she came to a dream. She goes, okay, here's the deal. It's my Uncle Richard is up in the attic, and there's porcupines in the dryers down below, but the washers have other things in them, and then that changes, and there's a guy outside shooting, and he misses me, but he's trying to get a parking meter. But now there's a fairy that floats across the living room and goes into the mirror, and then wait a minute, I think Uncle Richard is coming down this, and I go, well, and she's trying to tell this dream that is like really powerful to her. So I go, and I'm going, I'm lost. So I go, okay, can you tell me again? So she tells me again, only now it's not porcupines, it's bears in the dryer, and the bears, one's white and four are blue, and everything changes, and I go, can you tell me again? So she tells me the dream three times, and I cannot get a handle on it. So I was we were at a restaurant sitting down. So I actually took a piece of paper out of the trash and I had a pencil and I said, can you just draw it? Just draw the dream, just draw whatever, something, because I'm confused. So she draws the dream and suddenly here's this angry guy going down the stairs. Then you can see there are porcupines in the dryer and there's rain on the roof and there's this fairy that's floating across in this magical way. Okay, now I can work the dream. So now I go, okay, well, it's about this fairy energy and it's about this, for me, it's for me, I talk about it, always use first person and, going into the mirror. What about that? What do you think? Oh, she goes, oh, this. And she had a lot of ahas out of it, which talk about the fairy going into the mirror because that was one of the principal pieces of the drawing. And the Uncle Richard, whoever it was, had his giant angry face. And it turned out it was about her family and and she'd been mistreated by her father, and it like that was in there too. So we're talking about things that are meaningful to her that are coming up in her from her unconscious that are really important, and so that's how it started. I went, wow, this worked. So then I said, okay, I got to try this again. I thought I thought at first, though, I thought it's kind of like when they make a movie out of a book, and like
Right.
Dune, the first Dune. You remember the first Dune? Oh my God, what a disaster! But you think they're going to ruin it, right? Like they did with Dune. But the second Dune, really good. Anyway, but it's not. For some reason, I have never. It's never been to where it's ruined the dream. The dream still stays intact. It's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing.
You
Anyway,
do that in your own dreams?
yeah, yeah. I just matter of fact here. Let me show you a picture. I just drew this about a half an hour ago. You know, here's a dream, which I drew a picture of. Okay, and it's a pretty simple dream.
Right.
What happens is that in the dream, I I see this like curved surface with these panels on it, and the panels are like the space shuttle. They're kind of the space shuttle panels that they have on, only they're made out of some kind of wax. And what I do in the dream is I heat up, and you can see through them. And what I do is I heat up the panel. And when you heat up the panel with some kind of like a heat gun or something, words start appearing. And what you have to do is be very, and it will answer any question you have. This is the dream, right? It'll answer any question you have. But you have to be very careful, because if you heat it too much, it will become opaque. If you don't heat it enough, you won't see the words. It takes just the right amount of heat. And what I wrote here, I just made this up, you'll find love at the conjunction. And again, that just came from kind of an inspired place. I don't know. But so you see what I'm after? It's like with that dream, it's like I go, whoa, it says something to me. I mean, it can be interpreted in a number of ways, but it's like that idea that if you want to know what you need to do, you need to heat it up just enough. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's about life,
Right.
it's about relationships. It's about understanding things. It's not like going into it and heating it all up, but just gently. It's for me, because I'm kind of a bombastic person sometimes. It's a message for me that I need to like calm down and heat things up slowly, because I'm working on a second book, and I think that's what
Excellent.
it's about. It's like that. It's that working slowly into that mystery that I'm going to be talking about in the second book. Yeah. Whew, sorry, am I talking too much?
So yeah. So okay, I want to go. It's so funny, and I have to mention this real quick. Oh my gosh, when I was going through a divorce, and my daughter was like not even 2 yet, I had this dream that I was painting, that I was on the floor, and I had my on my hands and knees, and I was just like painting with my hand, like how a 2-year-old would paint, right? And I was like painting, painting, painting. Well, once you know it, that's how I got into painting, was based on that dream.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that's what sprung me into the art world. And I never really thought about that. But it's funny because that dream, I can still see that dream as clear as day as I did over 20 years ago.
Right.
You know, and to see how far it goes. And so many dreams, they just stay with you. And even the ones that don't feel so good, even like the
Yes.
like the your dreams, and
Yep.
you don't know, it's like, like why, and so, and then some people are like, oh, that's just like the garbage of your mind. Well, I don't believe that.
Mhm.
It's always like something you have to address, whether you're ready for it or not. It's
Right.
there for you, like
Right.
waiting.
Yeah. Yeah.
What has been the most successful story you've worked with, or the most fascinating story, or one of them, by doing this kind of work with people?
Well,
You can
the
talk
one that jumps out right now is, and maybe we talked about this last time, but I don't think so. I'm not sure. Is I had a woman. Her name is Deb. She's given me permission to talk about her dream. I don't. This is always sacred work. So unless I get actual written permission to release it, because it's also in the book. So she comes to group with this dream, and it's a group of us who meet in person, and in it, there's a whole bunch of things that go on. There's a seal, there's a boat, there's some guy pulling his wanger out, and all this stuff. But the one part that was really stuck out is that in the dream, she drew these shoes and with these red laces, and she's walking in the shoes of her dead husband in the dream along this river. And I went, it's like it seems significant. And I went like, if I remember right, he died 3 years almost to the day of when she presented this dream. And I said, I don't want to be the downer because it's a really funny dream with all the stuff going on, but if I'm walking in the shoes of my dead husband, what did he die of? And she goes, brain cancer. She glioblastoma, glio. I always can never pronounce that thing. Anyway, the fastest form of brain cancer that there is that kills everybody. John McCain died of it, right? So I said, ooh, I said, well, you might want to just think about that. And when she went, nah, it's okay. So 2 weeks later, she has terrible headache. She goes to the doctor. The doctor says, oh, I'll just give you some medication. She goes, no, I had a dream and I worked it with my dream guy. And he was wondering about, and the doctor says, oh, I believe in dreams. And I'm like, really? A doctor that believes in dreams? What? That's really weird. But anyway, he goes, yeah. So he says, let's do an MRI. So because of the dream, they do an MRI. Sure enough, she has glioblastoma. She has the cancer, about a walnut-sized version of it early on. They remove it, and she now has 8 years since that happened. And so the dream saved her life in a way. Do you know what I mean? So suddenly we listened to it and went to that place with the shoes and stuff, and suddenly when she's in the doctor's office, she goes, man, because I think dreams our body knows. Our body knows stuff, and it tries to talk to us about it. And so incredible. So it has saved her life. She's a great person, and she's still alive and she's in the I think 3 percentile of people that survive more than 5 years or something. Anyway, that's a really prime example, of one.
That's a great example. Yeah, just again, paying attention. All right. So, what do you think about dreams showing us past life memory or past life situations? Do you think that happens? Do you think that comes up through
I
dreams?
am not sure about that. The caution I have about this is just for me. This is my world because, again, my prejudices comes because of I used to be a Mormon, and so I got out of Mormonism, and it was like a cult basically. And it's it's a belief system, and I'm going, don't fool me again. So I have a tendency to sort of be really circumspect about that sort of thing, about past lives. But there are some things that happen. I don't know. You can't explain them, and so. Yeah, there are people who've had those experiences and if it helps, that's cool. If it's like, I mean, there are the 17,000 people that were Cleopatra in a former life, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? I mean, because it's an interesting subject.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, and you figure the potential of the mind and the soul is limitless.
Yeah.
So. And if and as a writer, as a creative, it's if you can think it, why not? The power of the thought.
Exactly.
And
Yes. Yeah.
and so I'm, just like all these different religions, everyone's like, oh, this is bitter, I'm better, and well, actually, they're all kind of the same, and they all offer something interesting. Of course, you can't, wars have been brought up because of that. But I mean, what we are capable of is so immense beyond what we could even imagine. So I figure, why not? Why not have multiple realms? Why not have multiple universes? And who's to say yes? Who's to say no?
Right.
Because but just to explore the possibilities, especially in dream time. I mean, just what messages can come to you because of that. And some people, they can talk to their spirit guides, or whether a loved one who's passed on, or whether it's their, they want, the angel or whatever it is, those doors are wide open. All right. So then I take it, do a lot of people accuse you of being woo woo? Is that?
Yeah, I have an edge with that because I don't think of myself as woo woo, but I let that in. This is almost where the second book is about. It's about that mystery. It's like, I don't know if they're past lives or not, but let's investigate it. Let's let it in. I don't know if astrology has any meaning, but let's let that in. And if it enhances my life, that's the principle I go from. If I'm here centered in my life and I'm connecting to something that's really important, that's great. I mean, there are examples in the other direction where, like, for instance, there was a woman I worked dreams with her where she was Richard Gere was in her dreams every night, and he was making love to her, and she was having a great time with her. And I go, well, okay, what is Richard Gere to you? He's a symbolic, because he's a star. She goes, oh, no, no, I'm going to be with Richard Gere. I went, well, you might want to, like, maybe, but so she stalked him. She stalked him, and she got labeled by his security people as a cuckoo, and never got together with him. But she insisted that her dreams meant that she was meant to be with him rather than being symbolically about something else. So that's the rare case, but so that's where I go. I am a little cynical about the woo-woo piece in that way, but also let it in, let it in, let whatever it is. If it feels good, if it's like a past life, if it's like I have this sudden urge to, like, take all my clothes off and take a bath. I mean, whatever it is that gets you going, get it going.
Love home in your own private space, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there is that.
But I think you hit the key is, being present, being in the here and the now. So no matter what the dream is, no matter what the past life or whatever your interpretation is, it's all about being right here, right now. And whatever messages we are getting through symbols, because I do believe dreams are all about, symbology, how it resonates with you and how it can help you in the moment of now.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's what's so wonderful about your book, it really is like a guideline to help people figure out their here and now.
Yes.
And
Yeah, and it's not always great mystery. Like for instance, I there's a very close friend who's been in my dream group for a long time. She had a heart attack recently, and oh my God, it was terrible because she went to Kaiser, and they said, well, we want to put stents in, but to your arteries, but your arteries are too shriveled, you know. So which basically they're saying, well, you just take some medication and hope you don't die soon. But anyway, so she goes through this whole, but her dreams were, I have pictures of it if you want, but her dreams were she drew a horse with one of the legs was this, all that was left of it was a shriveled, long, like artery or something, like this blood coming down. Okay, so like, like this, the leg of it, and, just comes down into this point with this blood and stuff. She hated this dream. And then, this is before she had the heart attack. She has a heart attack, and the doctor comes in and says, he does a drawing. The drawing is exactly like the leg of the horse.
oh
He
wow.
draws the same drawing, basically. It says, here's the problem. You have shriveled arteries. We can't put they put the stuff in. Okay. Anyway, so basically, the dreams it didn't save her from the heart attack like it did with the other woman, but it is saying, I'm in this place. This is where my life is, and my dreams are talking about it. It's not just like, oh, sorry, you had a heart attack, and I'll get you some flowers. It's this real presence of the dreams. And then she had another dream where these 5 cherubs appeared, and then she goes, oh no, I don't want to go to death and stuff. But anyway, that was like, but they were people she didn't know. And I went, anyway, there's a whole series of dreams surrounding this heart attack, And the last one was, there's two paintings. She's an artist. There's 2 paintings, and one of them is of her heart and everything else like that, and one is a landscape, and she's repairing the landscape. And what she realizes that in the dream, she goes, oh, I need to concentrate on doing things and stop worrying about the heart attack. And that was the message of the dream. So they follow, our dreams, they follow us, they help us, they work with us. And she's a better person because of that, because she doesn't sit there going, oh no, am I gonna die? Anyway, I don't know if I explained that very well, but this is just one example of a series of dreams that helped her understand and get through and have the emotional experience of having a heart attack. Whew.
How awesome is that?
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool. And but again, just paying attention, being mindful.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and it changes things, which is nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I guess the worst thing would be to get a message and not follow through on it, and then something happens that changes the direction of so many things because you
Mhm.
didn't pay attention.
Yeah, yeah. But even in that, if you go, oh, I should have listened to that. But then again, you're now listening. You're now listening to something. I mean, my thing is that like, yeah, it just I believe that that all of us. I'm going back to the woo woo place a little bit, but I think in our deep in underneath everything, we are absolutely all of us. We are artists, we are musicians, we are philosophers, and we are poets. I mean, and we are dancers. All of those things. And it's like when like when your kid was born, you go, there's a way that they sing. They go, and before they know anything, they dance, they move, they dance. It's like there is a natural. I think we are incredible artists, musicians, all these things. And if we can tap into them, if we can tap into that source of what we all are, without exception, even Donald Trump, there's a way that if you tap into the deep interior, it is an incredible experience. It's awe. That's my thing is about when you stand in the presence of yourself. Like when you have that moment where for me, it's like Jackson Pollock. I can stand for an hour in front of a Jackson Pollock, and I have no idea what it's about, and I don't think anybody does. Maybe they do, but maybe they don't. And it's like I'm transported into something. I can't explain it, but I'm connected to some kind of artist part of myself that he meant for us to do. Yeah, I think. Does that
I,
make sense?
it makes total sense. I mean, there, like I said earlier, there have been artwork done by various artists.
Hmm.
I can spend hours there, and it's like I'm leaving my body, and I'm in this whole different realm because of that piece of artwork.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing, and it doesn't happen to every piece. I mean, I've seen artwork that's moved me to tears. You
Yes.
know,
Yes.
when it's just like that, something in that energy, or I'm not even sure what to call it, but it's that channeling
Mhm.
that connects you. And I think dreams are part of that. It's
Yes.
that same kind of energy. And so if we could tap into ourselves, I think that could really figure it. I think we can claim much more sovereignty within
Ooh,
ourselves
ooh.
by becoming aware of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ooh,
So,
that's a great idea. I love that. I love
I mean, especially right, we've been through a very challenging past couple of years. You know,
Oh,
um, and I think it's given people an opportunity to get to know themselves more. And some people are having a really hard time with that. They're realizing they don't like themselves. They don't understand what's going on. There's still a lot of fear,
mhm.
a lot of unprocessed shit.
Yeah.
And I think something like your dreams. Now, some people say, "Well, I never remember my dreams." Well, there are techniques to help you do that.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because people say that, and actually, it's usually, I hate to admit it, but it's usually a lie. They usually remember something, but a lot of dreams, I would almost say, actually, a majority are negative. It's like I'm killing somebody. I'm doing something that somebody's hurting somebody else, and blah blah blah. Or I'm place where I really don't belong, and I'm being chased, and my teeth are falling out, and all the common dreams where that happens like this. But they are messages. If I realize that it's actually a message, it's not like being critical of myself. It's actually supporting you. Then it's a whole different deal. Most people don't remember dreams because they don't want to. They just go, oh, because they had nightmares. Everybody has nightmares from their kids, and they don't want to go that place again. So you can't ignore them. They do flit away. But generally, if you want to, the first thing is like, let me try to remember my dreams. If you do, you'll usually find success, and then of course you can do all sorts of things like take B6, and you can wake up in the middle of the night. Or what I do is always, of course, right before I go to sleep, I stop and go, okay, I'm going to try to dream tonight. I'm going to try to remember. We actually dream around 3 to 4 hours a night.
Wow.
Almost half of our sleep time is in dream time. And so, all of us, I mean, without exception. But it's in that moment, if I can just tell myself quietly to do that, I will get it. and there is a, oh, not to talk on and on, but there's a reason we don't remember dreams for the most part. It's because it's a brain chemistry thing. Is that the frontal cortex are the memory circuits are basically asleep when we're asleep. There's stuff going on, there's all kinds of things being repaired. There is that sort of thing that goes on with that way. But so what happens is at the base of the brain, there's a short-term memory center. And if you wake up with a dream, it's there. It's like a catch on a computer. It's like that temporary thing that holds it. And so if you wake up with a dream, you don't know the difference between the two. It's not in the long-term memory centers in the front of the head brain. It's at the back. And so and you go back to sleep and it's gone. So there's the idea is like catch it while you can and write it down. Anyway, I'm sorry, did we go on and on?
No, don't be sorry. Well, it's fascinating too. It's like, so much comes, I mean, again, going back to the creative stuff, so much comes from dreams, whether it's in art or fashion or music or, story, it's just so fascinating. Now, it's interesting you're talking about behind the neck and a lot of technical terms that I can't repeat because they can't form in my mouth. But what's interesting on a more spiritual level, the whole chakras and meridians, there is something behind our neck,
Yes.
which is considered a very important part too. And for a lot of people, it gets blocked, energetically speaking. And so when you open it, you access different kinds of energies. Now, I don't want to sound woo-woo, but it's like I like to think that everything is a balance, and with polarities, I think science and spirituality fit together kind of like the yin and the yang. It's like you can't have one without the other. So it's just so fascinating that it's that same part that you're talking about, because on the energetic level, it is that same part that, gets, we clog ourselves up with so much in just day-to-day life. And then going back to the dreams, when you become mindful of your dreams, even just recognizing shapes and pieces, that helps you become so much more mindful about yourself, whether you interpret them or not,
Right.
Which is really cool. All right, I have to ask, okay, because you said there are a lot of common things. What does it mean when you have to pee in your dream, or you start peeing in your dream? I know it's funny, but
No, pee and poop both are very prevalent in dreams. It's again, it's all individual, but what is pee in our bodies? It's getting rid of something. It's a process of getting rid of stuff that we need to process through. Hello, same thing with poop. It's like many poop dreams and toilet dreams, and trying to go to the bathroom. I can't find the bathroom, and I piss all over the floor, and I've had hundreds of dreams with poop and pee.
okay.
And it is about getting rid of things, allowing things to pass through you, and it really probably does have something to do with the chakras too. Like there is that, as much as that's woo woo, there is
I think it's awesome.
there's a sense to that. I've had people who have like, I have this big green thing that's compounding in the middle of my chest. I go, well, that's green is the color of the chakra for the heart, So if again, that's just one interpretation, but but with the P, it's like, it's like letting go of something. It's like it's an indication of something, and possibly. I mean, that's one interpretation. Is like letting go. Yeah.
Well, I think it's so interesting too sometimes when you're having dreams, like your body responds to what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many times, all right, I'm just gonna say it. The other night I had a dream. It was so freaking real.
Yes.
I peed myself.
Oh.
And I'm like, and I mean, it was such an intense dream, and like so many things were happening. And all of a sudden I'm like, I ran to the bathroom, and then all of a sudden I start peeing. I'm like, am I awake or am I asleep? I asked myself that, am I awake? And by saying that, I woke up. I'm like, what I just, and it freaked me out. And then, but it was like, and then I'm thinking, I have to write this down because this would be a really good horror film. It was a scary dream, but I was able, which was cool, to step out of it and see what was going on. I'm like, okay, all right, well, this would be great for the story I'm working on, and like really separate myself from it. But I was so ingrained in it, I
Wow.
was mortified. And I'm sharing this for people to hear because sometimes your dreams just suck you in so deep.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, no, that's a really prime example. I mean, I've done it where I've almost done it. I've like gone, I'm actually peeing in the dream, and it wakes me up because my body's going, oh, you want to release? Okay, you got lots in there. Whoa! I have to admit it. I probably a few times like done the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't admit to it, but yeah, yeah. But what happens, of course, is that I think is that you're so in touch with the dream. The dream is so powerful that you're actually stepping into it, and it actually has responses in your body. Yeah. Oh wow.
Fascinating how some dreams are in color and some are kind of like you're watching TV, or some are like hazy.
Hmm.
See
Hmm.
like pieces, like you're watching it through a window.
Hmm.
It's just so fascinating. What I always think is interesting, when you wake up in the morning and you in your dream you put something somewhere, and you wake up in the morning and you go there to look for it, and it's not there, and like, what? I put it there. It's like you know
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
it so again, it's like we're so freaking powerful. And
Hmm.
it's like, okay, why is this happening? What? And then I start asking myself that, and I start going deeper into, well, maybe you're going into other realms. Maybe you're investigating stuff that you can't know in this present moment. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, and when I start thinking about that, it's just, to me, it fascinates me. It's like more colors on the palette, and then I think, huh, okay, so all right, this is good writing material,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
how does it help me right here, right now? You know,
Right.
and
Hmm.
it's interesting by thinking that way. When I am faced with situations that some people like scream or get mad or angry at, I'm like, I just kind of see it like it's happening. More writing material. And like in the dream, you just kind of like let it happen, and it's going to work itself out one way or another.
Hmm.
I just really think it's fascinating how I've kind of made that correlation of things to like bring into the present time.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like this is about being alive. Because I
Yes.
mean, I hate to say it, but it's a lot of our lives is kind of just dead because we're going to work and we have to get this and so forth, and then I have to eat food and blah blah blah, and I've got to work on the finances and I got to go clean the house and blah blah. Whatever it is, that's all part of life and that's good. But we have a tendency to sort of like ignore when things like I'm peeing in my dream, where it's like, whoa, I'm alive.
Yeah.
I am I am connected so deeply with my dreams that I actually peed my pants. So it's like there is a way that is an incredible connection to something very deep. And so we need that. And it's so important. And it's available. Awe is my thing. I love that sense of awe in front of the Jackson Pollock, or that moment where I'm working a dream, or even now I'm in an atmosphere of awe right now talking with you. It's a wonderful conversation. So that's what life's about. And we don't do it enough. We don't do it enough. We don't just stop and say, let me think about my dream, or let me just go and lay on the grass, or let me just look up at that tree, or whatever it is. We don't do enough of that. We get caught up in the news and the this and the that, and we don't participate in our own lives enough. That's my thing anyway.
And I mean, that means so much, whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship. And, it's like you have to have that connection with self in
Mhm.
order to have the connection with others. I like to think of it like the figure eight, just like that exchange of energy.
Mhm.
And I think when we're in a dream state or dreaming, it I like to think it opens up possibilities for stuff to come into you. That inspiration to do something you wouldn't have necessarily thought of otherwise. Or
Mhm.
like someone who comes to you with a dream, is sharing with a group, you're inspiring other people, just by having that share, whether you do it on Zoom or in group.
Yeah.
And then they take it out to others also. So that's a gift.
Oh, it is. It is. Like the one with the heart attack thing. When she presented the dream with the like with those five cherub faces or something like that, like, and it was in person. We had this thing, and we all started bawling. I hate to admit it, but like we just all started crying because it was like it was a very real look at a heart attack and the things that surround it and our expectation that we're all going to die. And she's like, we're all in that moment. All of us in the room are thinking, what about me? What, Jesus, what happens if I die? What's going on? All of these things, there are real moments. It's a very, instead of just being talking and, gee, you're so sorry you had a heart attack. It's no, I'm in this. We
Yes.
were in that moment. And so that's so important. If we can, even our relationships, it's good to like stop once in a while and go, wait a minute, let's really talk about shit. What's inside? What are you feeling right now? Tell me about your feeling, and whatever. I mean, it's blah 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 blah. Whew.
Connection is so important, just having, and it's funny, you can connect with nature, and connect. I think it's so important to be able to get outside and see the sun and see the sky and feel and smell and breathe and to like see other people. And I think human connection is so important. I mean, we just have all these energies inside of us that are amplified when we're able to share,
Yes.
and I think that's just so awesome to go, yeah, that
Yeah.
it's
And our
awesome.
and our they've discovered that like when they deprive people of dreams, it drives them mad. I mean, it's a people are really assholes if they don't if they deprive them of dreams. They've done studies where they've done that. We've woken up during REM and stuff, and it's we need to dream. We need to dream, and not all dreams we hear. And 4 hours a night. Hello, but at that time things are going on. There is a conversation going on between ourselves, our bodies, and our minds, and so there's stuff going on, even if we don't remember the dreams. So that's kind of, it seems like a cop out, but it's not. It's just sometimes I don't remember a dream at all, but I woke up in the morning feeling much better. I'm like, oh my God, why do I feel so much better? There's something, I don't know what it is. I have no idea. But I bet you it was had to deal with my dreams. My dreams were talking to me and repairing things and working stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's great. I love it. So you have your group weekly. Is that something you open up to the public, or is that invite only?
Invite only. But I do, I do workshops, through all kinds of different, we have different modes of International Association for the Study of Dreams. I do workshops. I do some personal counseling and stuff like that now here and there. And, and all kinds of things. But yeah, the group is kind of by invite only because otherwise, even though maybe I'm overstating it, but I wouldn't I can handle about 12 people. And after that, it gets a little out of hand, with a group.
So if there's someone out there who has a dream that they can't figure out, whether it's haunting them or just kind of like nudging at them,
Yeah.
if they want to reach out to you, would you be able to work with them?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. They could contact me somehow with the. I mean, you can either through you, I guess, or whatever your system is that, or just write me an email, which is artistwalt, which is my our handle artistwalt@verizon.net. If you want to do that, so that's a way that you can do it. Yeah.
Well, I'm very proud of you. What you're doing is like, but you took a thought, whether it came from a dream or not, I don't know, but you turned it into a book. You're
Hmm.
putting yourself out there. You're helping people. You're working on a second book.
Yeah.
You're constantly creating, and I think that's wonderful. And I
Yeah,
love
for me, it's not about like, oh, let me make money with my book. I don't give a rat's ass about that. It's a matter of like, can people get something out of it? Do they feel something? Is there a chance that they can actually experience a little bit of awe in their life if they read this book and enjoy it? That's where I'm in for a pound it in for $1 or whatever the expression is. But it's
that's
like,
the same now, right?
oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. With the pound and the dollar are the same thing. Yeah.
um, anyway, sorry, I couldn't help myself.
You're
Oh,
funny.
yeah, well, that's a nightmare for some people.
Oh
But
my God, yeah.
Walter, thank you so very much. I appreciate your time. I always enjoy speaking with you. So thank you.
Well, it's been great. You were easy to talk to, and I hope I didn't say too many things because I get so excited about this process. I'm
Oh, yeah.
so excited.
Different directions you go in, and you know, but it's like some people think it may not mean anything, but I think dreams always do mean something. It might not hit you in the moment, it might come to you later, but I think it's there for a reason.
Yeah, just don't ignore them. Just allow them to, even if you don't understand it, because that's why most people go, I don't want to understand it, so I'm going to let it go. Just live with it. Go, just think of it. If you think of the dream, going, what is symbolically, what is it trying to say? If I'm peeing in the dream, oh, well, let me think about what does that mean symbolically to me? Oh, I hate pee. I love pee. Well, maybe nobody loves pee, but it's like, I don't know. Look at the symbols in the dream. Look what's going on, and just allow it to be part of your life.
Right.
Just let it in. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Just
Exactly.
let your dreams be heard.
Right. Or at least acknowledge. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And share them with somebody sometime. Even if it's like somebody at work, you go, I dreamed I was having an affair with you. Oh, oops. That's happened. But anyway, whatever it is, it's just a talk with ourselves. It's a wonderful thing. Dreams have messages from our unconscious, and we are all artists in the process here.
And I love that. And with you constantly drawing your dreams, you're gonna have quite a book with just that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got piles and piles of stuff, as you would
Right?
imagine.
Have fun. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it
And
is. It is. It is.
a diary, if you will. A
Yeah,
diary.
it's also good to track the history of it because it's like suddenly, a friend of mine wrote a book called Dream Tracking, which is a really great. Bambi is her name, and it's you ought to interview her. She's amazing. But it's like the idea of tracking your dreams. Like, wait a minute, there was a red car in this one. There was a red car in this one. There's a red, truck in this one, and they all have something. They all go off the road. Well, the dream keeps trying to say something over and over. So when you track your dreams, I looked at my dreams back and, suddenly I go, oh, there's a pattern here. It's like anything else. There's a pattern to things and it talks to us. If we don't get it in one dream, that red car, the red car of passion, the first chakra, whatever you want to take it as, it's like once you get it, it's sort of like even like with nightmares, when people have PTSD things, it's not an expertise area that I have, but once they either become lucid and change the dream or express the dream and change it in waking life and saying, oh, instead of that bomb coming into the thing, it gets caught by a bird and it goes off somewhere else. You just make something up. When people change their nightmares, they will eventually disappear. It can help people. I mean, dreams, working with your dreams can help even the hardcore PTSD people who have terrible nightmares.
And it's shifting that energy.
Yeah.
Which is really.
Yeah, listening to them, working with them.
Walter, thank you so very much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to share your links and the link to get your book on Amazon because everyone needs to read it.
Yes, you're welcome.
It's on Kindle also. I saw that. Are you going to be doing an Audible book version of it?
Not yet. Ooh, that's a good idea.
You should. I think it'd be awesome.
I wonder who could read it. Yeah, boy, do it together. It would be kind of fun. That's something I haven't explored yet, but yeah, we'll see what happens.
Audible books are really, really popular. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Mwah! Thank you very much.